Government announces measures to end sugar crisis. Good evening, I am Faida Gaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. Vice President Dr. Philip Mpango directs public institutions and organizations in the country to capitalize on bonds to generate funds that can be used to finalize development projects. Dr. Mpango has made the directive in the Tanga region during the launch of the Green Bonds for Water Authority in the region, which are expected to generate more than 13 billion for improving the water availability. Here are more details.
It is the inauguration of the Green Bond for improving water services in the Tanga region, and the official guest of honor who is here to launch it is the Vice President, Dr. Philip Mpango. Speaking immediately after launching the bond, Dr. Mpango explains the benefits of bonds and urges institutions and government organizations to capitalize on the bonds to generate funds for development projects.
Hakikishe taasisi, mashirika na baadhi ya halmashauri.
Make sure that institutions, organizations, and some of the councils use these bonds to speed up the implementation of projects and to give a chance for government to focus on other prioritized areas that do not have such empowerment.
He furthermore instructs the Board of Directors of the Tanga Water Authority to properly manage the funds to be generated through the bonds.
Nidhamu ya fedha na usimamizi thabiti.
Financial discipline and decisiveness will enable to return the money invested on time. And let me say publicly that the government will not tolerate any form of carelessness that will stop the president's efforts.
The Minister for Water, Juma Aweso, elaborates on the state of the water availability in the country, while the Deputy Minister of Finance, Hamad Hassan Chande, explains how the government continues to collaborate with the private sector to ensure completion of the development projects. More than 53 billion Tanzanian shillings are needed to end the clean water shortage in the Tanga region.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says the current government is committed to ensure that all schools in the country incorporate information and communication technology systems to facilitate learning and teaching at all levels. He made the remarks earlier today when he visited and inspected the IT infrastructure installed at Lucas Malia Girls Secondary School in Ruangwa, Lindi. Speaking to the parents and students of the school, Majaliwa commends the Ruangwa District Commissioner's Office for facilitating the installation of IT systems in the school.
Wazazi wangu, mama zangu, dada zangu, wazee wangu na vijana wote.
My parents, my mothers, my sisters, my elders, and all the young people, as I said, I will still be in the front line to ensure that we achieve success. Your responsibility is the same, to ensure that you support me in my leadership. We must support our president. We must defend President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Furthermore, the Prime Minister says that Lucas Malia School will be the center of teaching through IT systems for secondary schools in the Ruangwa district.
I have come for two things. One is to congratulate the district office for starting a new use of the computer system in teaching our young people. We want young people to become computer experts when they finish school. We called an expert the other day, and he has set up a system for us. And now the students are mixing chemicals using computers without even using physical equipment such as test tubes. We expect to bring in 200 computers and reach schools that don't have computers and add more teachers so that all students can be taught the subject of ICT.
Now from Lindi, let's fly to Zanzibar, whereby the President of Zanzibar and the Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, has met and held talks with the Canadian Ambassador to Tanzania, Kyle Nunes, and a delegation of chairpersons of the Canada-Africa Parliamentary Association, led by Senator Amina Gurba in the Zanzibar State House. Speaking to the delegation, President Dr. Mwinyi said that Zanzibar's economy mainly depends on tourism, which contributes 30% of the national income. Here are more details.
President of Zanzibar and the Chairman of Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, welcomes Canada to explore the opportunities available in the blue economy, including tourism, fishing and shipping, port operations, along with oil and gas sectors.
Now we have a policy, an economic policy that we call blue economy. And under this blue economy, we have 5 important sectors. The first one, again, is tourism, because at the moment, the bulk of our tourism is beach tourism, where you have resorts and people come for the beaches. The second in this blue economy is fisheries and seaweed farming. We are very big in seaweed farming, and the majority of the farmers in this sector are women. As a matter of fact, above 90% are women. So this we regard as an important sector here in Zanzibar because of the inclusiveness of the general population in that sector.
On the other hand, the Canadian ambassador to Tanzania, Kyle Nunes, expresses his appreciation for the discussion held, asserting that Canada has historical cooperation on various development sectors with Tanzania, insisting that the government of Zanzibar should expect more tourists and investors from Canada.
Has a long history of development assistance with Tanzania. Our economic relationship is way too small, and this is our next area to work on together. So we are hoping to pursue a fresh bilateral investment treaty to use as a building block, but also the exchange of people and bringing in companies and learning about your priorities, so that we can bring this back to Canada to get that interest, to get more people coming.
The Minister of Agriculture, Hussein Basha, says in this year the government will import more than 300,000 tons of sugar to deal with the sugar shortage in the country. Speaking at the State House in Dar es Salaam in a meeting with media editors earlier today, Basha elaborated on the exact amount of sugar that has been imported so far in the country to curb the deficit.
Mpaka sasa sukari iliyoko bandarini na sukari ambayo tayari imeshaanza kusambazwa.
Up to now, the amount of sugar available at the port and the one that is already being sold in the market is an average of 31,000 tons, and we have a ship that's already bringing about 25,000 tons of sugar.
The Minister for Agriculture here states how the government plans to put an end to the sugar price hike.
Options to stop selling sugar, and the government will look for another option. And the ones who own factories have 2 options: to follow the rules and regulations, and if they cannot do that, they should leave their jobs. And we have given them a document to change the distribution system. For instance, Kagera Sugar has 1 distributor in Mwanza and serves 11 regions. The government cannot allow that.
However, Basha reveals that 80 sugar traders have already been arrested for selling sugar above the cap price, where the court proceedings against them are ongoing. This is happening following the government declaring yesterday by the Minister of State, President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government, directing the regional commissioners to ensure the sugar traders adhere to the indicative price given by the government. In other news, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Energy, Dr. Doto Biteko, says the government recognizes and appreciates the contribution made by the small power producers to the economy. He expressed the appreciation when he met and held talks with small power producers in the Njombe region, urging them to develop new power generating projects to curb power shortage in the country. Let's get more details.
Dr. Biteko made the remarks in the Njombe region, meeting small power producers, in which, among other things, the producers highlighted the various challenges they face in the implementation of their projects. Dr. Biteko congratulates the small power producers for their work, which helps in the power supply to the national grid, boosting power generation. He challenges the producers to execute their projects, and their government will continue to support them in every way. In solving some of the challenges highlighted by the producers, including the issue of obtaining permits and tax exemptions for importation of some equipment, Dr. Biteko directs the Rural Energy Agency, REA, to prepare a document that will categorize the challenges to help the government work on them.
The former president and the incumbent chancellor of the University of Dar es Salaam, Dr. Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, has instructed the contractors who were given the contract for the construction of 21 university campuses in the regions of Lindi, Kagera, and Zanzibar to complete the projects on time, adhering to the quality agreed in the contract. Witnessing the signing of 6 agreements between the university and 4 construction companies, Kikwete says he will ensure that he supervises the construction closely in every region. Is a report by Ngariai Olekimusa, read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Is the part of the Higher Education for Economic Transformation Project HEAT, which is now at the University of Dar es Salaam. The University of Dar es Salaam has been granted $48 million, which is equivalent to 10 billion Tanzanian shillings, for the implementation of the HEAT project for a period of 5 years from June 2021 up to July 2026. It is a multi-billion-dollar contract aiming at improving the teaching environment.
The university is expanding itself in order to reach many Tanzanians by establishing a new campus in Lindi and Kagera region for agriculture and business causes as a star.
The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, represented by its Deputy Minister Omari Kipanga, is set to support University of Dar es Salaam, while the regional and district leaders, represented by Kagera Regional Commissioner Fatma Mwasa, says the project will stimulate economic development.
The president was the one who made a proposal to expand more infrastructures in more than 14 regions. So we are going to build a new campus in 14 regions in both mainland and Zanzibar.
We are going to expand education in those regions and increase employment, improve the economic sector in those regions. The incumbent chancellor of the University of Dar es Salaam, Dr. Jakaya Kikwete, gives instructions to the contractors.
Implement those contracts on time and at the standard we have agreed on. You might implemented it on time, but it may be substandard. Let me promise you that I will be passing around frequently to see how you are implementing this issue.
On the other hand, some of the contractors of the companies present here promise to complete the projects on time.
Pray for us to prove to history that a patriotic Tanzanian engineer is able to do this job. We won't prize ourselves much, but you will see how we will work, and our work will speak for itself.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, January Makamba, urges the international community on the importance of establishing new international systems that will make fair and unbiased decisions, especially for African states. Makamba has made the call during the 9th Raisina dialogue in New Delhi, India, where he asked that Africa no longer believes in some of the current international systems that have often made decisions that favor or benefit the few and forget the interests of other parties, including Africa.
And we think that the current setup from the beginning has been not working for us. We think reform is not enough. I know that the current structure exists because it was somewhat a settlement of a certain upheaval. We think that there needs to be a reorder, and the conversations about reforms, especially the United Nations, and the way it votes, the way it makes decisions, are insufficient. Some of the ideas that are being thrown around, for instance, expansion of the Security Council, we don't think that would work. Of course, we don't advocate for another upheaval so that we have a reordering of the international order, but we believe that the certain incremental and plurilateral arrangements that we see now, and India, of course, being part of, can help to build a new system of coalitions and partnerships that works for us.
Furthermore, Makamba says the Raisina Dialogue is an important platform in bringing about changes and finding answers and solutions to various challenges, including economy, peace and security, justice and equality. Raisina Dialogue is India's flagship conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics, committed to addressing the most challenging issues facing the international community. Let's have a look at other stories now. Acting Director General of the Tanzania Meteorological Authority, TMA, Dr. Ladislaus Changa, says many areas of the country that experience 2 rain seasons are expected to receive average to above average rains in the upcoming rain season. Giving information on the forecast of the rain season, Dr. Changa adds that the average to above average rains are expected in various areas of the country in the upcoming rain season, starting in the 4th week of February and ending in the 3rd and 4th week of May 2024.
Leo tarehe 22 mwezi wa pili mwaka 2024.
Today on the 22nd of February 2024, the Tanzania Meteorological Authority, we have given the direction of the monsoon rains for the year 2024. For the month of March to May, in short, it explains that in areas and regions that receive rain twice a year, the rains will be above average. And this includes the Lakes Victoria regions, Geita, Mwanza, Mara, and Simiyu regions. But also, as we give in our statements, in the past that the autumn rains in these areas were expected to go until the end of the season. So we expect that the seasonal rains will join this.
The TMA Acting Director General calls on the public to take necessary precautions to avoid the effects that may arise, including in the agricultural and seaweed cultivation. Dr. Changa also insisted that the public continues to monitor TMA's weather forecast to keep themselves updated with any new development. Now, before we wind up the local news, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Do not miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Now stay tuned for all the latest in international news. Let's have a look at international news as compiled and read by Nyambona Masamba.
Sabri Ahmed, one of the Sudanese army commander, said the siege broke is a gift from God and the defeat of the criminal who terrorize people. He said they have been carrying atrocities that never seen before. Sabri said this is the first phase and the war will not end until the Omdurman and our Sudan is cleared by militia. The streets near the base are scarred by the battles fought over it. Building destroyed by artillery fire from the RSF when it tried to seize the base. Barriers brought on the roads to keep the fighters away to Asia. An unprecedented number of Chinese nationals has been illegally entering the United States across its border with Mexico. Many are driving to make the trip by general slowing economy, and they say they are escaping an increasingly repressive environment. Guizhangzhou villagers are working overseas and sending money home. At the moment, many villagers are taking their risk of illegally crossing into the U.S. from the Mexican border and just for economy benefits. To the Middle East. The conflict of Gaza has overshadowed the meeting of G20 foreign ministers in Brazil. Earlier this week, Brazil's president accused Israel of genocide, agreed with Israel and its allied United States. The ministers met in Rio de Janeiro to discuss a roadmap ahead the head of state summit in November. Brazil's foreign minister, Mauro Vieira, cut the paralysis of UN Security Council on the war in Gaza and Ukraine. He said the UN's institutions are not equipped to deal with the current challenges, as we have seen with the unacceptable paralysis of the UN Security Council ongoing conflict. This action results in the loss of innocent lives. He said Brazil does not accept the world that resolves differences with the U.S. military force. Brazilian President Lula da Silva compared the war in Gaza with Holocaust. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Lula in the capital Brasilia, where they discussed the war in Ukraine and Gaza. Blinken said that he don't agree with the Lula's comparison to the Holocaust. It is therefore on the UN Top Court of Public Hearings on impacts of Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories. China and Iran representatives said outline Israel violation for the Palestinians' right to self-determination. Still in Gaza, one teacher in Rafah is on mission not to allow Israel war to rob children their future. More than 500,000 students in Gaza are out of school, but even the war comes to an end, they won't be able to resume their education. Thousands of them have lost their lives, but for those who have survived Israel's war in Gaza, there's no schools to come back to. Most of the incumbent schools are either being completely destroyed or have been turned to shelters for hundreds and thousands of refugees who have lost their homes.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, the head coach of the Tanzania women's national team, Twiga Stars, Bakari Shime, says his team is well prepared and he hopes it will snatch all the points in their upcoming match against South Africa. Shime says Twiga Stars is determined to qualify for the Olympic competition. Therefore, a campaign against the South African women's team is an important game for the team.
This is a great match whereby every player needs to be a part of the squad because it may add an opportunity to a career, but also to have an history. In other side, I believe in fans also, they deserve to come and to watch this match.
Twiga Stars will play against South Africa at Azam Complex in Dar es Salaam tomorrow, looking to qualify for the Olympic competition, and the match will be live on TBC Taifa. In other sports news, Dar City basketball team coach Mohamed Mbwana says that he remains optimistic in defending the Dar es Salaam Regional League title following securing signatures of new players this season. Speaking to TBC News, Mbwana insists that despite the presence of competitive teams participating in the league, they are confident that the team will do well.
My team is looking really good. I know we're going to get some challenges, and that's going to be good for our basketball league here in Tanzania, but especially in Dar es Salaam. It's going to be lit. I'm pretty sure all the stakeholders, the fans, they're going to be enjoying every bit of the Regional Basketball League games over the weekends.
The Dar es Salaam Basketball League is expected to start on the 2nd of March with a total of 32 teams, which are expected to participate in the league. And that's it for sports. Now, before we wind up, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Again, this is 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Rainfall signal, the strongest one are over southern Western Highland together with southern part of our country. For tonight, we expect future particle condition, thunderstorm over Furia over the Lake Victoria Basin, while western part of our country, southern Western Highland, southern region with the southern coast, expect future particle condition, thunder shower over Furia. The rest part of our country expect future particle condition. For tomorrow, we expect future particle condition, thunder shower over Furia and sunny period over Kagera, Geita, Mwanza, western part and Morogoro together with southern coast. While Mara, Simiyu and Shinyanga expect future particle condition, thunderstorm over Fury and sun periods. Southern Western Highland together with Rovuma region expect future cloud condition, thunder shower over Fury and sun interval, while the rest part of our country expect to feature particular condition, light rain shower over Fury and sun periods. Let's have a look for the 4 days weather forecast for some part of our country, starting from the day after tomorrow. Dear viewer, we thank you for watching us and have a good night.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Faida Gaga. Good night.